Good evening, one and all. Welcome to Leaders Connect 360. Leaders Connect 360 is a CSR initiative by Bija Training and organized by the Mask Leadership. My name is Nalinayagam, Senior Manager Quality from Wirlicon Friction System India Limited, Chennai. Leaders Connect 360 started with a specific objective of inviting 1,000 plus leaders and create a million leaders, a hybrid model leadership community where every Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. we learn from top management leaders on Zoom Live, and once in 3 months in each city, we will have an offline networking meet to network, support, and grow with the leaders. That's when we call us leaders create more leaders. Currently, all are muted, and we will be giving you an opportunity to speak to our guest, Mr. Kiran Prasad, Chief Human Resource Officer, Sesa Care Private Limited. But before that, let me also share that we are currently live on LinkedIn, and this episode LC080 is being recorded. For the visitors who are joining the first time, you may also click on the WhatsApp, Facebook, and LinkedIn link on the chat box to get updates on a weekly basis and join us in creating more leaders. Also, we request all our members and visitors to turn on your videos to see your smiling faces, which will help us in making this episode highly interactive. So, are we all ready to interact with our guest, Mr. Kiran Prasad, on the topic collaborative leadership? Then please type yes in the chat box. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Arun. But before the introduction of the guest, let me also take the privilege to introduce the founder of the Leaders Connect, Mr. Prakash Sharma, who will have an interaction with our guest, along with our panel discussion leader, Ms. Bhavini. I shall welcome all. Over to Mr. Prakash Sharma, sir.
Great. Thank you very much, Nalai, for the awesome introduction of about the Leaders Connect 360 platform. And welcome all the leaders. Welcome Mr. Kiran and welcome Ms. Bhavini Pancholi, the panel discussion leader, and all the other guests and members who have joined us today. Welcome you for the 080 episode of Leaders Connect 360, where leaders are creating more leaders. Thanks very much. And today we have an awesome episode on the specific topic titled Collaborative Leadership. And yes, for which we have Mr. Kiran Prasad including. And let me give a quick intro about Kiran Prasad and followed by a video introduction. And then we start our discussion with Mr. Kiran. So Mr. Kiran Prasad is married, in fact, Ms. Kiran, and she's an associate professor. And he has one daughter named Shivani. She's studying a 4th standard. And he likes dramatics. And his favorite sport is chess. And he's located from Hyderabad. So that's about Mr. Kiran. And about the personal background. However, for the professional background and knowing more about Kiran, I would request Mr. Arul to please share a video which will give us more understanding about his professional experience. All the members, visitors, and leaders, type in welcome Mr. Kiran and welcome Ms. Bhavini. And yes, Mr. Kiran, thanks very much for being with us today here on this platform, Leaders Connect 360.
Thanks a lot, Prakash. It's my privilege and honor to be part of this, this forum. Okay, I've been hearing a lot. I've followed what all you have shared. Okay, and it's really great pleasure to be here along with Bhavini. Okay, looking forward for great interaction and mutual learning. As I said, okay, it's not just one-side sharing. Thank you once again. And one another thing, just want to note, today it's 80th episode. Okay, and 8 happens to be my lucky number. Glad to be part of you guys. Great. Because my birthday is also 17. 1 plus 7 is 8. Okay, so that matches up.
Good, certain things are coincidence and it happens for a reason. That's how.
Absolutely.
True. Very nice, Kiran. Nice knowing you, and thanks for taking your time to join us here on the specific topic collaborative leadership. And members and other visitors, yes, so we have Ms. Bhavini Pancholi also, who's been a trainer for more than 8+ years of experience, and she has been a certified ICF coach as well. And she is here with us as a panel discussion leader, along with Mr. Kiran Prasad, to discuss on specific topic collaborative leadership. So yes, Bhavini, we welcome you as well on the screen.
Thank you. Good evening,
Bhavini,
everybody.
how are you?
Hi, Prakash.
Hi, Bhavini.
Hi, Kiran. You would prefer Kiran or sir?
I would prefer IK. Simple.
Oh, IK. That's nice.
Yeah.
So before we would begin, I would like to tell that one common interest that both of us share is dramatics. I too enjoy dramatics on the personal ground.
Fantastic. Yeah. Great.
So culturally, yes, it is very interesting. Professionally, what I do, I really love. So thank you for giving me an opportunity, Prakash. And can we begin the?
What do you want?
Thank you.
Great.
IK, I would like to know that before pandemic, there was this term collaborative, a very known term. It wasn't a term which is unknown to people as such also. But after pandemic, collaborative has become a very common spoken term. But now if we're associating that with the leadership, so can I know in your view, what is collaborative leadership? And if you can give some examples of collaborative leaders as well.
Okay, great. First of all, as you rightly said, Bhavini, okay, there's nothing new in collaboration as a word or collaborative leadership as a style. Okay, there were far many examples in our history, in our business history, and as well as in normal political or any kind of social history where you can see there are leaders who have actually emerged successful with collaborative styles. Okay, as per me, what does collaboration mean? Collaboration is mean for mutual benefit. Simple. Okay, it has to be together. Okay, it has to be together towards particular goal, particular achievement, whatever it is, but it is together. It is not I, me, myself. It is we and ourselves. Okay, so that's a big thing. And one great legend who comes into my mind when I talk about collaborative leadership, especially from the business sense, I'm glad to start my career in that organization under his leadership, Mr. Harsh Mariwala. Okay, the guy who actually brought Marico to what it is today. He was one of the pioneer non-management business leaders who really rose the business to the levels what we are today. As an Indian, we will be very proud to know the Marico's history and the way Marico has done. Okay, and just to put it aside, why he is so very collaborative. Okay, when he started his business, he got into family business. He didn't have a formal management education. And there are a couple of books on him, and he himself co-authored a book along with Ramcharan very recently called Harsh Realities. It's Harsh Realities or Harsh Realities, the same thing. Okay, so if you go through it, and I personally worked with him, been with the company, so I can relate it very much. The key fundamental things what he did. First and foremost, he talks about we don't have anyone called as employees in the organization. Marico has only members. Okay, so Marico doesn't have employees. None, not even a single communication you will find there are employees. There are members. That itself is the first tenet, what I say, of imbibing collaboration, which means you are part to something. You're getting involved. Okay, so it's like you're a family member. You're part of the family. Okay, you don't work for your family. You're part of your family. So that's the first thing. And second thing, what he very nicely did over the period of years is something what we call in Marico terms constructive critique. Okay, so in any even a small meeting to a large project review to everything, there's a part in the entire conversations or in the entire meeting content which we call it as constructive critique. Okay, so feedback is just more about raising fingers. That's what we feel. But constructive critique is either you don a head of hat of devil's hat, what people say, or a person who can see what can go wrong so that you can really fix it up before you get into execution. So there's a second thing which is another big important tenet. And last but not least, which I personally felt very much value added and where I see it really worked the way Mariko or the way he drove the entire thing is there's something called very brutal honesty. Okay, so what he calls this brutal honesty is say it. Okay, candid is still can be managed out, but brutal honesty is if I don't like it, period, full stop. There's no commas. I don't like it, but no, it doesn't. Then the constructive critique and membership doesn't value. If you have to speak to your dad and if you can't speak to your mom in so much of full stop language, then it's not family. You're trying to hide something. It's the way it is. So for me, this is what collaborative leadership is to me, and this is one of the amazing living legends whom I've worked with and who I see as a living example. There are many other examples out there in the business, out there in various facets of life, but he's the person whom I've worked very closely and whom I've learned. So I think that's one guy whom we can talk about.
Lovely. So if I can say brutal honesty that you mentioned about Mariko person, can I call that as the ugly truth which people have to face when they get the critique as well? Because truth is never fair. It is definitely ugly for people to take it.
Absolutely. I'll just tell you, there's an entire, every manager who joins Mariko, okay, has to go through this program called Relationship Management Program, which is based on this Mountain Black series of leadership style, which is a leadership towards task and leadership towards people. Okay, and in the entire training, on the a day before last, I think on the third day or fourth day, it's a 5-day program. Okay, there's something called hot seat feedback constructive critique session, wherein you within the group in which you are working, you are asked to sit on a hot seat, and people who are in the group actually tell everything what they observed in you for last 3 days. You're not supposed to comment. You're not supposed to answer. You just need to make notes of yourself and get into introspection. And this is really valued and this is really practiced in the way the meetings or the reviews or the management sessions happen in Mariko. And that's what you're talking about. The ugly truth is sometimes, many times it's very difficult. We say we are candid enough, but are we really so brutally honest? Okay, and brutal is not negative in this sense. Brutally is used as that strongness attached to being honest.
True, absolutely. It avoids a lot of miscommunications, misunderstanding. It allows the organization to flourish well. So keeping this in mind, how do we have the best way to encourage organizations to have more collaborative leaders?
Okay, my experience again, having worked with Mariko, one of the fantastic organization, also on this organization where I'm part of Act Fiber Net, which was my previous organization, the present organization Sesa. Okay, both belong to a True North portfolio companies, which is one of the leading private equity player. Okay, and private equity is typically seen as a very different industry to work with because people feel here people only make money, people talk only about financial success, nothing else. But trust me, having been in this industry for 7 years, there's real collaboration which happens here because here every decision, every node of your life or node of your business is driven by a purpose. And that's the first basic requirement for you to really imbibe collaboration or, evolve collaborative way. Okay. If you're not driven by the same purpose, or if my sense of doing a thing is not common, okay, you can't collaborate. You will be two different things. You will be doing two different ways. You're two different individuals and you have two different ideas. So until there is a sense of one purpose or sense of one belongingness towards a particular goal, okay, that actually can't imbibe. So the first thing an organization need to have in place is that sense of driven purpose. Okay, or purpose for some might be a very, very big thing to be spoken or to be called out for, or sense of that same target for a simple thing. For example, if two people of sales in a sales team want to see how I can collaborate, it says, what is that number I want to achieve? Or what is that process I need to excel with? Okay, so that commonness need to be established. That's the first and foremost. And for you to do this, it's very easy said in English than really getting executed. Okay, the first and foremost, which is the budding stone or the main step towards having this commonness or sense of thing is trust. Okay, how am I building that trust with the involved parties? Okay, and in which I have a very favorite statement, I keep on telling it, the trust can be evolved. Okay, it can't be built, it has to evolve. Okay, it has to evolve over series of interactions, series of conversations, series of discussions. And the basic thing for the thing is you need to involve each other. The inclusivity and involving ability will only enable trust. Okay, so involve to evolve trust is what something I believe in. And so then these are the two basic things that an organization need to put in place. Okay, organization or a team or a function which want to really make it much more largely collaborative space to work for.
Lovely, lovely idea. That's like really a trust building form which we can have with our leaders here in the panel to understand how the growth needs to be made in organizations. As we are having a lot of people from different communities, will definitely be seeing this trust factor to be booming thing for them as well. So if I can have the understanding that, what challenges one needs to keep in their mind when they are with different companies when they're collaborating. So what are basically the challenges that would know how to develop the companies when they come together?
Yeah. So the first and foremost, okay, be it companies, be it teams, be it individuals.
Basically.
Yeah, Bhavini. Okay, in my experience, being part of few merger and acquisitions and few part of the private equity, for example, the present organization which I'm working as a leadership team member over here, this brand was owned by some other company 3 years back. This only brand was acquired from that company, and a new company on the brand was formed. Okay, so that's the history which we come with. And in this entire scenarios, what actually make two teams, two individuals, or two thought process to come together, I actually want to donate in 3C way or 3C way, and this is exactly what we have done in Sesa. Okay, I'm not talking something which is written in a theory in a book or something, but this is my personal experience. First and foremost is, what are we considering for when we are actually talking for collaboration? What is that into consideration? Is the consideration is into achievement of some goal, or is it consideration is into excelling certain way of working, or is it consideration because there's a certain business opportunity we want to really seize it and grow it? What is that we are considering for? And are we able to communicate that what we are considering for? So first, have that consideration why we want to collaborate. And once you consider that and clearly defined it for yourself, are you able to communicate to every stakeholder in the ecosystem there? So are we actually able to speak the same truth and same language to everyone, and everybody understands it? So the communication plays a very, very critical role. And the third stage, once you consider, communicate, commitment. Am I committed to it? Are we committed to it? Okay, so I think this 3C process is very, very important. Okay, when two organizations, two teams, two individuals, okay, it can apply to your own life. When you marry to your wife, when you want to collaborate for you building a greater life, okay, this is what exactly you need to look into. Okay, this happens in every day and every walk of our life. And we're putting into organization because there's so much of imbibed ways of experience everyone comes with. Getting them together towards this is the challenge. And this is the way I think there are 3 things we need to consider to ensure that we get right collaboration in place.
Correct. This hybrid form of building is very organically structured by your 3 C's that you have mentioned right now. That's amazing, IK. So if I can see from your experience, or if I can know from your experience more, what do you think collaborative leadership works better with? Is it with the like-minded people, or is it with the different styles of leaders coming together, and why, if it is like that?
Okay, I've got a little bit of different answer for this. Okay, partly yes and partly no. Okay, because before even getting over the styles of leadership, first we need to understand what the few tenets, as what we have been discussing, lots of tenets and lots of elements and lots of ways the collaborative leadership can come live. Okay, for particular thing for any leader, okay, irrespective of the style he or she comes with. Okay, the first and foremost, if he or she wants to be collaborative or want to encourage collaboration within the team, within the organization, or within the few associates or few partner companies or partner whom they want to work with, first and foremost is to put I separate I from me, putting my ego aside. Okay, getting away from I. Okay, in any connotation, and start talking we. So I, myself should move to we, ourselves. So that's the first stage. So irrespective of the leadership style, okay, if this works, that's the first stage. And if you see what I was talking, I have seen this happening. I've seen this Harsh doing it by himself. Okay, irrespective of the level of member who interacts with Harsh, whether he is a junior manager member or a manager or a partner, he is being or she has been given that opportunity to present himself or herself. Okay, because there can be a wrong answer, but there can never be a wrong question. Okay, so if anyone is questioning you and if anyone is telling it, you first put yourself outside and try to be part of that individual, try to be part with that individual, with that process. So that's the first and foremost, which enables you to treat everyone equal. Okay, so once you put I, myself outside, I, me, myself outside, and you keep out your ego outside, then you are as equal as to the other party, whether it's individual or organization or the team or the function, whatever it is. And that's more important. Okay, so once you are putting your ego outside and trying to get into that equality, there where the first level of collaboration starts, and there where the trust starts evolving. Okay, so irrespective of race, I've seen, like for example, we got this leader, I can't take the name of the individual, but this guy has been a successful sales leader, done fantastically well in one of the leading FMCG MNCs. We got him on board to lead one particular business. His style is totally autocratic. Okay, we were little, we never had such kind of leader in Marico, and there were lots of questions raised. Why is this guy getting joined? How did Harsh hire him? Okay, those were the questions which were raised. But trust me, which I think over a period of 3 to 4 months, he was one of the best collaborative leaders I've worked with. There was so seamless working which I had with him, and compared to what I used to have with Harsh or Milind or other leaders in Marico, it's the same thing working with him. Why? What was different is putting my eye outside, and he's been reminded that multiple times by Harsh and the XCOM. Okay, that's fine. What you're thinking is fine, but what does a team think? Asking the same things multiple times, imbibing it. So that's the reason I say partly yes and partly no. So okay, I don't have a straight answer to this, but yes, how do you do it? How you imbibe it is very important. So putting that ego outside, me outside, and getting into equality, okay, will actually enable better collaboration.
I don't know how my question was, IK, but I really appreciate your answer for this question. As I see I to be the exodus over here, which all need to remove it from their life. Only then I guess we can multiply ourselves with better people around and with better development of organization or community. Thanks a lot, IK. It was amazing having a discussion with you.
Thank you.
Over to you, Prakash.
Great. Thank you very much, Bhavini. That was really an awesome questions which has been asked on the specific topic of collaborative leadership. And great, Kiran, excellent experience sharing. I mean, your experience with Harsh Mariwala has been really tremendous. It's a great opportunity that you've been working with him, and then you're able to really see the depth insights of how the collaborative leaders work and operate. And 2 examples is what you're sharing, which really helps us. Good. In future, we will definitely see that we'll also invite Harsh Mariwala to our episode. Maybe the 100th episode,
Amazing.
150th episode.
Amazing.
So
Yeah, amazing. Trust me,
definitely.
I have been hearing him so many times, but every time I hear him, I get new things to work upon. I had to introspect after that session. So it's really pleasure to have him, and you guys really get immense knowledge after the data session. Yeah.
He's connected on my LinkedIn, but definitely need to interact with him, get an opportunity to see him. We'll definitely do that. Yeah. Great. So great, Bhavini. Thanks for those awesome questions. So now Kiran and Bhavini, we'll like to take maybe 2 more minutes in asking a quiz. So whatever discussion you've had, Kiran, is where we are going to ask a quiz, and just to engage all our members who are here with us, and so that we also understand what are the key insights taken from your respective conversation which has happened so far. So to conduct the quiz, I would request Mr. Nellai Nayagam to be a part of on conducting the quiz. So Nellai, yes, over to you, Nellai, to conduct the quiz.
Good evening, one and all. Thanks to Bija Training and Mr. Prakash Sharma for this opportunity as a quiz leader. Dear Kiran, Prasad sir, IK, and actually really wonderful insights about the collaborative leadership. When we are understanding your points and we are introspecting ourselves and our point, how we are handling our team, how we are truth ourselves on the participation in the meeting and all. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. I hope we will ensure that whenever we are treating the members as a part of family or a part of the team, and we will try to ensure how to build a much more trust among the team members.
Yes. Thank you.
Before I share about the quiz for today, let me share the last week quiz winner, Ms. Varsha, who has won 360-degree assessment tool from the Mask Leadership. Yeah, let's congratulate her on the chat box. Congratulations, Varsha.
Congratulations, Varsha. Good one.
Let's see who is the lucky winner of this week's quiz. So fastest fingers first. Let's see who writes the correct answer in the chat box. The question is, Mr. IK mentioned 3 C's for a collaboration model. We can mention the all 3 C's, because I felt that this is a success formula for our life also.
Three C's. Yes. Quickly, participants, Mr. Kiran Prasad has shared about 3 C's, especially in terms of how we have to collaborate is what he shared. I did make a note and I have it with me. So others, 3 C's. So people who are typing in correctly is going to get the book, The Mask Leadership,
Bhavini,
as complimentary.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Bhavini has written.
Yes.
So what do you think in LA? Is all 3 C's correct? Is
Correct,
the right
consideration,
format?
yeah. The sequence is slightly changed, but consideration, communicate, and commitment.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow, very nice.
Congrats,
excellent.
Bhavini.
So Bhavini has written that. Huh? Good. So how about one more? You also said competence, Kiran? Commitment,
No.
right?
This is exactly right. Yeah.
Commitment.
What are you considering for, and communicate it well, and then ensure that we get commitment of all the
commitment.
stakeholders.
Wonderful. Great. So that's again, Bhavini is the person who's going to get it. So congratulations, Bhavini, for getting the Mask Leadership book as complimentary. Awesome. So all the members type in congrats, Bhavini. So she gets the book as complimentary. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Good.
Can I say something?
Please,
I basically put the communication first, because I think the development of anything begins with communication. So that's why I just slightly changed it, because I can consider, reconsider, rework all of those after my communication is developed. Right? I put the communication first. That was the only logic which I used right now. That's all.
Agreed. Valued your input, Bhavini. Definitely different angles to look at it, and the way how we are always perceiving it. True, rightly said. Thanks. Great. Thanks, Nellai, for the quiz. Awesome quiz which has been conducted. Great question. So, which really drives people's mind. And what are those 3 C's? And that's where the 3 C's are there on the screen. Great. Thank you very much, Nellai, for doing it so. And now is the time open quiz. So, members, now is the time for the open, not open quiz, open questions. Sorry. So, people who feel by asking questions to Mr. Kiran and Ms. Bhavini, now is the time to ask open questions. 2 ways to ask. Either raise your hand, and then we give you an opportunity to unmute you, and then you can ask question directly to our panel discussion leader as well as our guest of honor, Mr. Kiran. or else type your question in the chat box and we take the question on your behalf and we ask it them here on the screen. So there are two ways to do so. So please feel free, either of any one of them, you can choose and then do it. In the meantime, I also request on the chat box, you will have the LinkedIn IDs of Mr. Kiran Prasad as well as Ms. Bhavini Pancholi. For all the members and leaders who wish to stay connected with Mr. Kiran Prasad, that is, okay, IK is what he wanted to call himself, with IK as well as Bhavani, stay connected with our guest LinkedIn profiles, which is there on the chat box. Right? So if any questions, we'll be grateful to have. If not, a couple of more. One question I have, Kiran, and then we'll also ask for other people also to ask any question.
Yeah.
So awesomely explained about the experiences in terms of collaborative leadership and all. So there are also pointers when collaborations are being done, then after separations are happening. So at what level the collaborations are done, and when the separation happens, what happens to the collaborative mindsets? Because you said that we need to have a very common mindset, a shared vision, rightly said, correct? And the collaboration happens, and what happens to that when the separation happens?
At a mature level, again, it depends on at what level the separation happens. I've seen a demerger happening. Okay, merged and then got demerged. Part of the demerger. Okay, so it all depends on the critical part over this thing is the level of, again, brutal honesty to brutal transparency. How transparent you are and why are you doing this? Okay, so that's very, very important. Okay, and how well you can actually communicate it, because ultimately when such kind of things happen, okay, when separation happens and everything, there are two things which come very close to every individual, okay, or every stakeholder who's involved. First is their own safety net. Okay, so there's something called circle of safety. If you can read about Simon Sinek and everything, everybody speak about it. So what is my immediate cycle of safety, and how are you actually addressing in that entire separation? Are the key stakeholders or the key parties we are involved, okay, are they feeling vulnerable in the cycle of safety? Okay, that's very, very important. And second thing is, how are they actually able to lead the global the connections post that? Okay, is this happening for individuals' growth or individuals' stakeholders' betterment? Okay, and where are those avenues coming up? If you're able to put it and transparent it, okay, I think separations are sometimes good, sometimes good, because your consideration has changed. Earlier, why you came together, your consideration was different. Now when your consideration angle has changed, or the purpose of consideration is changed, okay, better to communicate it better, okay, and lead it to the next levels. So personally, I've seen that experience, and what worked is being brutally transparent and ensure that there's a life after that.
Yes. True, very rightly said. Definitely. I mean, that's the way to go. And I really like this concept called brutal honesty, which you're sharing with your ultimate pleasure of acceptance. Can we use this brutal honesty as a topic in our upcoming episodes?
Absolutely not my thing. So I do keep on telling this to my team whenever they come. We have something to say, that before you tell anything, be brutally honest.
That's true.
I'm there for it, whatever happens, but be brutally honest. I don't want anything to unearth or discover after I get into some discussions. So be true to me. So
true. We did have a topic, in fact, earlier was more about being truthful and dare to be truthful. That's one of the topic which we had, and then, but here's more of brutal honesty. The coining of the words are different, but yes, but definitely it'll add more value. Maybe we take it as a discussion.
Absolutely.
So, Bhavini, yes, I believe you raised your hand. Please go ahead. You'd like to share.
Yes. I wanted to understand, which I forgot to ask while I was asking the question. I want to understand, how does this collaborative leadership work with the millennials today? Is there a understanding with a broader dimension, or is it a net which has now synced in their minds in order to see how this has to work, keeping the pandemic in mind? So I don't quite understand the clarity with millennials working with this collaboration and collaborative leadership?
Very good question.
Very nice question. Trust me. Okay. And trust me, there is one thing which, at least in Sesa, we are seeing. Okay. Because if you see in Sesa, the brand is 25-year-old brand. Okay.
Right.
Put into a new way of working. We have part of team which is really old school of thought. And we have part of team which is into direct to consumer space, which are, they are just 21, 22. They're just
Correct.
stepping out from the college and they're really making business for us. Okay, so the kind of consideration what they have to what the consideration what my SR who is 20 years experience on the field is very, very different. So for personally, when we have to see it, how I deal it, I can tell you. Okay, whether it is right thing or wrong thing, I don't know, but it is working for Sesa and I'm happy with it. Okay, or my leadership team is happy with it. Let me put it, it's more than me. First and foremost is giving them space. These guys have bundles of ideas, abundance of creativity. Okay. So the moment they are never used to word no in their life because of our competitiveness or because of our upbringing nature in the way we grow in India. Okay, either you need to be in the top 5 to really make it to the cut, or you should be in the top 20 to make it to the cut kind of upbringing they come with. So the moment you say no, they get shattered. Okay, so that's one thing which we really got it. So we can't say no to these guys because, and they've got so many ideas and they trust me. I've for somewhere when previously I heard lots of my ex-colleagues and everyone saying also they are not committed, they don't work long hours. Trust me, if they are clear and if you give them freedom, there are 24/7 work ethic people. I don't find that. So you don't give them no, give them the space. They are committed. They want to make the difference because they want to make that energy come out and show it. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, what we do it over here is when they come with an idea. Okay, something called, it's a very regular thing which any business person or any business idea is. What is the proof of concept? So instead of saying no, okay, tell them, okay, great, idea taken, prove it now. Okay, and what we decided is we have defined an innovation budget for them. Okay, what we call is make or kill it budget. Okay, we create MKB, we give them MKB. So there's a boundary which is defined and there's a budget which is given in that boundary. And that boundary is defined by time, boundary is defined by value of certain levels of sales. Okay, if you're not able to do it, jump into next idea. So you have given chance, you have tried it out, worked, continue, sustain it. Didn't work, all the very best, move forward. And last thing is every idea, okay, is registered. We have simple Excel sheet and we have got this process called storytelling. Okay, during our town halls. In fact, just before this session, we had our town hall. Okay, these guys were being asked to come and speak about it. Okay. Okay, express themselves. That's what it happens.
Correct.
Okay, so they'll come out of that fear. That fear psychosis need to be moved. And this is working with millennials. But this same thing will not work with my, Gen Z or what is the, it doesn't work. It doesn't work with people with gray hair. Trust me.
True.
Okay.
I would call that a salt and pepper because I guess they have learned quite an achievement with their experiences. And second is no is basically a very harsh word even to use it in schools. So when we work with institutions like that, we usually ask them, you have problems, come with a solution. We'll pick the best. So that's how we can work. In order to tell them to work on a thing rather than commanding, we ask them to come up with ideas which they themselves can work it out.
Absolutely.
Great,
Absolutely.
great.
Yep.
Thanks, Ike. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Kiran. Excellent answer. In fact, for the millennials, how in fact collaborative leadership works and what mindset they have and how actually can we deal with them. It's just not about managing them and how can we deal with them and how can we keep encouraging them was an awesome one. Great.
Absolutely.
So on that note, yes, please go ahead. You're about to say a point?
No, I'm saying that thank you. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Always. Yeah. So all the members and visitors, now we're coming to an end of our episode, and here's where we'll be having a short vote of thanks. But before the vote of thanks, we have a summary of what we have understood from today's conversation, and then we go to the thank you. So all the visitors as well as the members who are here today, everyone will get an opportunity to introduce yourself. So after the end of the episode, we all will get an opportunity. So stay back to the end where we'll get to know each other more, and then it'll be easier for us to network as well. So for sharing the summary of what all we have understood for today, I would invite Mr. Rangarajan. Yes, Mr. Rangarajan, please go ahead and share the summary for today's video in a nutshell.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, Rangarajan. Please proceed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Please
going
introduce
into the
yourself and then
summary.
you can-
Yeah, I'm Rangarajan. I'm working in operation for Nash Industries, taking care of ATM operations. So going into the summary of the session, the crisp point is the collaboration leader start with mutual benefits. So we have to get the benefits of others and agree mutually so that collaboration leadership will work. And another key point is we have to involve to evolve the trust. Without involving, we can't get the trust evolved from each other. So, and the main crucial point is 3C,
Yes.
which is more
That's a
important for
highlight
us
for today.
to be the no, 3C
Yeah, go ahead.
should be there while we want to be the success in the collaborative leadership. The communication, consideration, and commitment are the 3C, which we need to ensure it is happening between us. And the more important point, which I think it is constructive critics. We should not tell the negative in a worst way. So the way the constructive critique in the company was very exciting when I hear it. And the final point is there, if you want to be a constructive leader, you have to remove your eye from you first. Without removing the eye, you cannot collaborate with the people.
Good
That
one,
is it.
Rangarajan. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
for the,
Very well
excellent
summarized.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rangarajan. And please do share that respective summary points on our WhatsApp group. It will help the people who missed today's sessions and for them it will be useful, and so that they'll be able to see our video as well. So all the people who missed also, or people who wants to miss only partial episode you might have watched or you have joined late, our YouTube channel is always there. Feel free to go through our YouTube channel and you can watch all the videos of our leaders, which is already available, and then we can take it up. So great. So on that note is where we come to an end of the session. And I would like to thank each one of all, and special vote of thanks. I would request Mr. Pankaj Vyas to share the vote of thanks on behalf of all, and then introduce about our next week's event of what we have as well, and then we take it forward. So yes, over to you, Pankaj. Unmute. Okay, yeah. Yes, Pankaj, please go ahead.
Thank you, Prakash. Thank you so much. Mr. IK, thank you so much for wonderful insight. You have really,
Pleasure.
briefed it very well. And the point which I really like, this term called connect. I personally believe in this term connect, sir. Because, until unless we don't connect, you cannot expect the same kind of reciprocation coming from the other side, right? And I believe that every individual is an I. You have also talked about I. When one eye connects to the other eye, it becomes we, right? So we has that power. So that's how I look at it. And I'm really happy to, have the second thought on my thought from your side. So thank you so much, sir, right? So
Thank you very much.
before me sharing about the next week episode, let me quickly share again the purpose of this community. For the visitors who are attending for the first time, Leaders Connect 360 is a hybrid model leadership community where every week on a Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m., we invite a top management leader from a reputed corporate company to share the solutions for our real-time leadership challenges, either on leading self, leading others, or leading your business, like how Mr. IK has talked about today. This Leaders Connect 360 online leadership community also gives an opportunity to make network with people on the last Wednesday of every month. through online and once in 3 months with a direct networking at each city to network with working professionals for personal, professional, and social needs. That's when we call leaders creating more leaders. If you wish to join our community, please click on the WhatsApp link, which is on your chat box, and you will be able to join us to receive weekly updates or call us on the number shared on the WhatsApp, and then we will add to our community. So now I'm happy to announce that the last Wednesday of every month has always an episode where we network with the like-minded people. Okay, so like one for the constant growth. One of the secret of how powerful leaders who are growing constantly is through networking. At Leaders Connect 360, we network through NOEL. So if you want to know what's NOEL and how do we use it, please join us on 27th of July, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. on Zoom Live. So members who wish to be panel discussion leader can give your names on WhatsApp group and or kindly interact with Mr. Arul. So do click on the links to the chat box to register yourself for our next week episode. So thank you so much, Kiran sir, Mr. Aike, thank you so much for being there, and we look forward to connect. Over to you, Prakash.
Thanks, pleasure is mine.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pankaj. And thanks, IK. It was an awesome session. And in fact, Pankaj has already shared the word of thanks. So now we have a thank you video. And after the video is where all the participants and members here, you get an opportunity to introduce yourself. For people who joined us for the first time, you get to know you at least. So please stay back. And Kiran, I understand a lot of commitments you may have. And in case if you will come after the thank you video. Else, if you like to know more about the people, also feel free. You can always be there. It's either way.
Sure.
Yeah? Great. So thank you all once again. Thanks, Kiran. And here's one thank you video for all. And after which we will have our introduction of each person. Great. So thank you all. Thank you very much, Kiran, for taking your time and creating more leaders. And that's been an awesome episode. And we will stay in touch.
Prakash. Thanks, Prakash. Thanks, Bhavini.
Yes.
Thanks, everyone. It's a pleasure to be on this platform. And I'm sure I will be keeping on coming whenever I get to really meet all you guys. I need to excuse myself here because, as I told, we have a town hall and we have a gathering towards evening because every quarter we do this. Okay. So, in fact, my CEO came twice to ask me when are you coming. So, I need to really excuse myself. Please excuse me for that. Yeah.
Completely.
But love to connect next time. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks a lot.
Always. We will invite you for our offline networking meet at Hyderabad, Kiran, which is happening at first of
One
October.
correction. I'm actually, my native is Hyderabad. I forgot. I'm based off Thane, Mumbai.
Oh, okay, Mumbai. Hyderabad.
Yeah, native is Hyderabad. Yeah.
So
please let me know when you guys are in Mumbai. We'll love to meet you guys. Yeah, sure.
Definitely.
So now you know Marathi, IK?
I know, my wife knows better than me. My daughter can teach, but not me.
True.
Yeah, but I can understand, I can follow, but at the pace where I can follow, not at your pace which you can speak.
So I guess we could have more of cross-cultural communication development with
Absolutely. Pleasure. Seriously. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you
very
very
much.
much.
All the very best. Yeah, bye. Have a
you.
nice evening. Bye.
All the best. So members and visitors, now is the time for our quick introduction of each one of us. So let me stop the recording as well as stop the spotlight sharing so that it helps that we all are able to see each other, and if possible turn on your videos so that we'll be able to see you all, and we also give you an option so that you can unmute yourself and then we will be able to share more about each other. So let's start initially one by one. Let me invite you all. First, I would request Mr. Venkatesh G to introduce. Mr. Venkatesh G, it would be great if you can unmute yourself and introduce you. Okay, next we have Mr. Yes, Venkatesh, please go ahead. Venkatesh, you were able to get unmuted? Okay, that's fine. So we have our next, in fact, person who joined us today is also, we have Joman. Okay. Next, Arka. Would like to introduce yourself, Arka? Okay, I believe all are muted for some reason. Okay, Nagaraju, go ahead. So, would like to introduce yourself? Recording stopped.